So yeah, I got approached by a very rich businessman who said, "What do you want to do? Because you will not lie down. You keep standing up like some stupid boxer who doesn't know when the battle is finished." And I said, "Well, I should do some in media." And I actually mentioned you because you're actually responsible for some of this, as I told you before.
And again, I apologize.
And he said, "No, you need a political party." He said, "They'll only ever listen to you if you have a political party."
Yeah, what signs are you seeing? Like I've just sort of come around to that the sane liberals just need, they don't have to change their beliefs at all. I mean, I wrote a whole book defending liberalism, but they have to ally with the moderates on the right, which I think is most of America at this point, just freedom-loving people, and we can debate about tax rates and all that kind of stuff. Do you see some signs that the decent liberals are waking up and fighting some of the woke stuff? Because there's not much here. There's just not much.
It's a very difficult subject for politicians, certainly, to get involved with. We've got a Conservative Party here, which is, I mean, they're not even vaguely conservative. They're almost a socialist party on their own. And then the opposition party is even more left-wing than that. So we're in difficult times, actually, because it's an attack on everything, isn't it? It's not an attack on it's an attack on values, love of family, love of country. It's an attack on all the things that were okay to be, to love. And we had this horrible murder a few days ago in London of this girl, and then there was a vigil held for her, and the police got too involved, really, because we've basically turned into a police state here, and within minutes it turned into a leftist demonstration. So we're getting what you have in Portland, starting to the rumblings of in London, screaming neurotic lunatics going on. Like that 1 minute they'll go, "Whose streets are streets?" And then they'll be on to fuck the police, kill the police. They don't know what they're screaming about, but they're angry.
Yeah. Are they organized in any way? I mean, this is the big debate in America. Is Antifa just an idea? Like, is Andy tracking this? Andy, is that why he's there right now?
Yeah, Andy was there the other day. Yeah, he's tracking it. I don't think they're that organized. I think social media is helpful, isn't it, for crazy people with crazy views to get together. So,
but what are they even protesting? I mean, from a British perspective, what are they protesting? Or they just don't know?
I went to the protest, so I was like, I need to know what these guys are upset about, and I couldn't work it out. They were just screaming. It was one thing to the next. It was meant to be about this dreadful crime, this murder of this woman, but it became about something else. It was like, let's kill the police. And it was ACAB, all cops are bastards. And it's like, well, are they? I don't understand. No one knew what was going on. They were just marching up and down the street, and then they went and lay down in Trafalgar Square for a while. I think basically either they weren't paying attention at school or they're not interested in history.
Yeah. How do you think the lockdowns fit into this? Because you guys are still in pretty severe lockdowns right now.
We are in severe lockdown. No one's paying any attention to it, though. It's so British. It's like, yes, we might. Whenever they poll the British people, they're like, "Are you all in lockdown? Are you supportive of it?" And the Brits are like, "Yes, absolutely, we're supportive." And then I walk out my door and down the street, and I look on the window. It says, "Stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives." And then you look downstairs, and people are having a drinks party. So it's do as I say, not do as I do.
Yeah. So, all right. You're a radical right-wing guy trying to defend liberalism.
Extreme right-wing.
Extreme right-winger trying to defend liberalism. So you walk in through the fire, you decide, okay, I'm not going to be canceled, I'm going to see what happens. And then how did you make the shift to say, well, I'm actually going to freaking start a political party and run for office? It's one thing to survive it, but then to really say, I'm going in and I'm going to do something.
Well, it's just such a gap. So like we did, after this, I had a feeling that there was a large constituency of people that just weren't being allowed to express themselves. So there's just this huge freedom of speech hole. So I thought that needs mending because we have to have a proper debate about everything, including lockdowns, actually, weirdly, because they haven't been talked about. They've just been, you must accept that lockdowns are a good thing. And there's no debate allowed. So, yeah, I got approached by a very rich businessman who said, what do you want to do? Because you will not lie down. You're like, you keep standing up like some stupid boxer who doesn't know when the battle is finished. And I said, well, I should do some in media. And I actually mentioned you because you're actually responsible for some of this, as I told you before.
And again, I apologize,
And he said, no, you need a political party. He said, they'll only ever listen to you if you have a political party. So weirdly, we started up the political party, and suddenly the culture became important again to our Conservative government, because they're trying to hold me off on what would essentially be in the Liberal side of things, but is now the sort of extreme far right, as our lovely mayor calls me.
Yeah. So this morning I went to the Reclaim website, and you basically write an open letter describing why you started the party and what the beliefs are, and I thought it was quite perfect, actually. Can you describe some of the principles? These crazy right-wing liberal principles that you're defending.
Well, I think it's really simple. I'm defending an idea, so it's not really about me anyway. So you should be able to protect yourself from attack. If you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in everybody's freedom to speak, right? And so that's what I stand for. I stand for the biggest and broadest debate to be had possible. And then what I've done sort of practically is I've commissioned, which is actually going to be quite big news in England soon, which is going to shock them. I've commissioned a full and huge legal review of all of the legal impingements on freedom of speech. Because, you've got your Equality Act going through, and what's it called, HR1 or whatever's going through in America. Yeah. Now, we had this shit. They did this in 2010 in the UK. We have our own Equality Act where people have protected characteristics and they're not equal under the law. So all of this stuff is really dangerous legislation. And I've commissioned a full review, and there's some very eminent top people who have put together a suggestion for the British people and for the Parliament about how we can lose division in society. But it's weird, when you try and lose division, you tend to attract divisive people.
Yeah, it seems to be. Are you worried that in essence you'll sort of, just at a practical level, that you'll sort of split the Conservatives, because some Conservatives will go with you, the rest will stay with the Conservatives, and then ultimately you just help Labour, and the Labour Party has, as you sort of said before, kind of gone off the rails?
I think the Conservative candidate in London is not, he's such a sweet guy as well, which I find so difficult, because he's a really lovely guy, but he's not, for some reason, he's not creating the right waves. So, no, I think what I want and what would be best would be for me and Sadiq, our mayor, who likes to race bait on a daily basis, to debate and talk about our capital city and what's his vision for it. And because he's got this it's called the Commission for Diversity in the Public Realm. He's got, and it sounds lovely, doesn't it?
It always sounds lovely. It always sounds lovely.
But it's just like, let's tear down all our statues. And he's already had to kick one member off who's an avowed, surprisingly for the left, extreme left, an avowed anti-Semite. Who would have thought it?
Shocking. In the Labour Party? I can't believe it.
Are you? It's weird, isn't it? Right? The people that call you racist, they are the exact thing they accuse you of. So he's. Sorry, I've lost my train now.
Well, so in essence, though, you want to debate Sadiq Khan, and do you sense that could happen, or is it a pipe dream? I mean, will he do it?
Who knows, man? We've got a pretty cool campaign. On the Thursday, we're going to start dropping some of the more importantly controversial but needing to be said statements to London. I mean, look, at the end of the day, London is like the cathedral of woke, like any metropolitan centre. So for me, the most important thing is just to raise the voice for the people that don't get to speak. That's it. It's the only reason I do it.
So, all right. So you guys are seeing some violence in London, with sort of newish violence. There's the lockdowns. We were mentioning right before we started recording that, we have a couple of friends in common, Douglas Murray and Peter Lloyd and a few other people. Peter basically has fled London, and everyone that I talk to that's in London is really not happy about what's going on there. What besides the free speech stuff has Sadiq Khan done wrong?
Well, what has he done right, really, is the way you have to start.
All right, fair enough.
He's terrible. We've got a surging knife crime problem. in London, and then that's made almost unsolvable because of the way that he stokes racial tensions between people. So, you know, he calls you a racist. If you try and deal with knife crime, he would call you a racist. He's obviously trying to tear down all of our shared history.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, what did he say the other day? He said something like, there's just no reason why there should be 65% of these people should be white men working in this particular field. And you're like, hang on a minute, dude. Just slow down. This country is 83 or 85% white. Of course it's going to be more white people. You know, it's this very specific demonization of white people. And fortunately, he has a huge constituency of white people who also hate themselves as well. You know, the sort of white urban liberals. And it's really sad because most of the working class in the United Kingdom would usually vote Labour. You know, they would. But Labour don't represent Labour. They don't represent labourers, and they don't represent actually the important things, which are class issues in this country. You know, Britain is constantly and frequently, I think just after New Zealand, and I can't remember where else, we are the most tolerant country on earth, you know, in terms of like tolerance of intermarriage and all this sort of stuff. So I don't know why at the centre of the altar of woke, our mayor is trying to turn around and go, you know what, guys, you're all racists. It's like, come on, man. It's 2021. We've got to get a new story.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about international issues instead of nonstop yelling, check out our international playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.